Okay, so SMS marketing is the future. Why? I mean, who doesn't check all of their text messages? Pretty much everybody in the US. SMS marketing messages have an average open rate of 98%, which means that when you click send, you're almost guaranteed that all of your SMS members are going to see your message. And these are people who already know, like, and trust you. These aren't cold audiences. These are people who have bought from you or have given you their phone number. So this brand whose SMS list I manage has generated $750,000 through SMS marketing in the past 30 days. And that contributes to 20% of the brand's total revenue. To take this one step further, automations, which we set up once, check in on and optimize, and just let run in the background, see on average 15% click rates and has generated $422,000 in this past 30-day period. Pretty freaking crazy. Building a strong SMS list is an asset that nobody can take away. Zuck can't shut down your SMS list like he can with your Facebook ads. Now, SMS is super simple, but that does not mean that it is easy. There's a big difference there, and there are a lot of nuances. I've literally sent tens of millions of total SMS messages and reviewed the data points and everything. So I'm gonna save you all that time, the years of testing, and of course the cost that came with that. Everything is going to be in this video. So let's break down SMS marketing so you can have it as one of your top channels for your e-com store. So SMS marketing, it's literally just text messages, very similar to email marketing, but it's just text. Super simple. So you'd think, okay, let's just type up some text, send it to our customers, and we're good. I wish, but there are a lot of nuances with SMS marketing. So let's go over some of these nuances. The first nuance with SMS marketing is frequency and how often you can send messages. SMS marketing is a bit more intrusive. You're going into one of the main apps on somebody's phone, you're sending them a ding sound and a vibration, and it's not something like email marketing where you can send 4 to 5 messages a week and not get any backlash from customers. For this reason, unsubscribe rates on SMS marketing are way higher than with email marketing. So we want to send much less frequently and only send important messages so that we can avoid these high unsubscribe rates for these people where we've worked so hard to get their phone number. Now, to just make things super easy for you, I wouldn't recommend sending more than 1, maybe 2 SMS messages per week. And I've tested this. The more you send, the higher your unsubscribe rates go. So make sure that you're only sending on big events or important messages, and you can get creative with your messaging and then also your segmentation so that you make sure that you're not annoying people. Again, try not to send more than once per week. Every now and again, you can do twice. Now, the second nuance is SMS messages versus MMS messages. SMS messages are the main kind of what you picture for SMS marketing, where it's just text and then a link. However, MMS messages are the ones that also have an image. So you have a text with just text, and then also there's an image or a GIF. Now, ideally, you want to be able to send images to your customers. However, MMS messages are usually 2 to 3 times more expensive than SMS messages. And this is really important to pay attention to because SMS messaging is much more expensive than email, where it literally costs a fraction of a cent. So you really want to be careful with your spend. And so if MMS messages are 2 to 3 times more expensive than SMS, that means that if you including an image or a GIF or whatever in an MMS needs to generate 2 to 3 times more revenue for it to be worth it in an ROI perspective to send that MMS. And in my experience, that is very rare to have one image generate so much more revenue. So I would highly recommend just sticking to SMS messages, text only, as much as you can, unless it's absolutely necessary to include an image. This way you're making the most out of your ROI, and still SMS messages perform really well. So going to the third nuance, and that is going to be your message length. So with one SMS message, you only have 160 characters, which is really not a lot. If you go over 1 character from 160 to 161, you're not just sending 1 SMS message, that's actually 2 SMS messages. And so you are charged on 2 SMS rather than 1. So if you go over to 161 characters, you're paying double the price. And this goes on for 3 SMS to 4 SMS, all split up by 160 characters. And if you do go over, you're gonna have to pay double. And again, it is very rare for kind of this extra messaging to generate you 2x more revenue. So we do not have a lot to work with here. So our SMS messaging needs to be very short, clear, and concise. I would not recommend trying to go over because, again, if you go over, you're gonna have to generate 2 times more revenue. Just keep your messages short, sweet, waste no space, and just try to get it under 160 characters with a simple point to get across to the customer. And the fourth and last nuance I want to cover is emojis. It would be amazing to be able to spice up your messaging, since you can't really have images because they're so expensive, and just send a ton of emojis to catch a customer's eye. But emojis absolutely eat up your character limit of 160 characters. Emojis use a different kind of code, which I don't really understand the science of it, but what I do know is that emojis take up the equivalent of 35 to 50 characters. And we already only have 160 characters to work with. So I would recommend staying away from emojis as much as you can, or else you're gonna have to pay up for it. So with all the character limits and limitations that we have in our SMS marketing, our messages need to be pretty bare bones and simple. Now that doesn't mean it can't be effective, which I showed you at the beginning of this video, the results that you can drive with these simple messaging tactics. So I want to just drill that into you and talk about those nuances because I get a lot of questions on SMS marketing, and also to just show that our messaging has to be simple. So we need to focus on when we're sending SMS messages and what we're sending rather than the intricate copy and like the tactics within them. So now we have that base understanding, let's get into how to get started with SMS marketing. You can't send SMS messages without an SMS provider. So these are softwares which let you set up a phone number with them and you're able to track your data, set up automations and all this good stuff. In my opinion, there's no right answer for your SMS platform. They all pretty much do the same things. If you use Klaviyo for email marketing, which I really hope you do, then I'd recommend just sticking to Klaviyo for SMS to consolidate all your marketing into one place. But the two other main options are Attentive and Postscript, which are both solid options as well. They're gonna try to sell themselves against each other on like, oh, we have this crazy new AI, like yada 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 feature. But in reality, you never really use those features and they're pretty marginal and they're relatively the same price. So I recommend just sticking with one platform, whatever it may be, and just use that. I don't need to walk you through how to get set up in like a step-by-step. They have really in-depth guides, so you can just go to their website and then get set up. It literally takes minutes. So we know how to get started with SMS. Now let's talk about how to actually grow your SMS list. Similar to email marketing, there are two main ways to grow your SMS list. We have post-purchase opt-ins, and then we also have pop-up forms. On your Shopify purchase page, when somebody's about to make an order, you can have a checkbox essentially saying like, do you agree to sign up for marketing? And I like to always have that for all of my clients so that we constantly are getting phone numbers from people who buy from us. Easy way to just grow your list in the background. But the most effective way to grow your SMS list is with pop-up forms. And I have multiple different resources and YouTube videos. You can watch this one, which is like an hour long, which goes super in depth on how to create pop-up forms that convert at a high level so you can get as many people onto your email and SMS list as possible. For context, most brands I audit only have a form that converts like around 2 to 3% of website visitors into email list subscribers and SMS subscribers. However, in this video, I show you how to get to 8% to 10%, essentially like tripling the amount of people entering your list. Pop-up forms do have a fine line because you don't want to be intrusive, you don't want to harm your website conversions, but you also want as many people as possible to see the form. So a couple quick tips with your form to get the most out of your traffic, but try not to be intrusive. One is you want your trigger to be around 6 to 10 seconds after page load. I wouldn't recommend doing like scrolling or anything like that or exit intent because sometimes it can misfire. I usually just like to set a time delay like 6 seconds. And no, that's not too soon. Trust me, I've tested this. We want to get as many views as possible. If we wait 30 seconds, then how many people are actually going on your site for 30 seconds? Not a lot. So we want to set it to a shorter time frame. Again, 6 to 10 seconds is where you want to be. Second tip is actually have a strong offer so that people will want to sign up. It's not a charity. People aren't just going to hand you their phone number. You need to give them something, such as a discount, which is what most people do, which you might have to give up a little bit of margins on that first purchase, but if you have a strong email and SMS backend system set up, you're going to be getting so much more out of these customers and make back that ROI. You can also do things like giveaways or free guides, something like that. 3, we want to use as little words as possible in our pop-up form. Just keep them super simple. Just tell the customer, this is what you get, give us your email. And then on the next step, you ask for SMS. And again, I break this all down in the video. Highly recommend you check it out. Just a last quick tip is make it as easy as possible to fill out. Don't ask anybody for their birthday, what products really they're interested all in one step, or their social security card. No, just ask, hey, do you want this discount? Enter your email address, and then once they enter the email address, then say finish signing up by entering your phone number. That works 10 times better. If you want to see me setting this up inside of Klaviyo and these other platforms, then watch the video. I'll also have a link to the document below. So we have SMS set up, we're growing our lists effectively. Now we can actually start sending messages with like the nuances we went over in mind. There are 2 different types of messages for SMS, very similar to email. We just have our automations, aka our flows, and then we have our campaigns, which are the one-time emails that we're sending out to the list at a specific time. First, let's talk about the automations and the flows. All the main platforms make it super duper easy for you to set up your automations. It'll just connect, whatever your provider is, it'll connect to your Shopify or whatever platform you use, and they'll probably have templates for like a lot of the base flows. There are 5 main SMS flows that I like to start out with. You really don't need too much with your flows because again, we don't want to overload our customers with messages. First is the welcome flow to deliver that discount or whatever you're giving to people who sign up to your list. Usually you want like 2 to 3 SMS messages. And then we have the browse abandon flow for anybody who views a product and then leaves. We want to send them a message being like, hey, where'd you go? You can finish your order here. Then same thing for the cart abandon flow and the checkout abandon flow. People who add to cart or go to checkout, we want to remind them to come back and say like, hey, you can finish your order right here. And then the last is a win back flow for anybody who purchased like months ago, but they haven't come back since. We just want to, let them know that we're thinking about them. You can try to get them back. You can even give them a discount if you want. So I'm going to flash on the screen, literally copy and paste templates that you can use for all of these flows. I've tested these over and over again. Look at how simple these messages are. They're cost effective and they convert like crazy. Copy and paste these. I've literally tested this over millions of data points. So use these. And actually, if you want a full guide of everything that I'm going over in this video, I'll have a link to the document below. It has like all the copy for you and everything I've gone over. And you really don't need anything else set up, since ideally you're going to be sending one SMS campaign to your list every week, which we'll talk about next. And those SMS campaigns are going to deal with a lot of your retention and then converting customers. These automations are just for quick, high converting and high ROI messages, kind of like we went over above. Super easy. Just copy and paste what I gave you with the triggers and you're all set. Those are the flows. Now let's talk about campaigns. We already talked about a lot of our content and the copy that we want to use and how often that we want to send. But just to summarize, with email, we can send like 4 times a week without really bothering the customer too much. But with SMS, we only want to send once per week-ish, and then only send important messages. Things like product drops, announcements, special offers, product highlights, whatever it can be. You can also create angles that make something seem important, like a back in stock message. But with SMS, we really don't want to send, too much nurture type content or social proof type content. People will just get annoyed and they're like, why are you messaging me? So I've tested them, usually don't get a great ROI and you get higher unsubscribe rates. So keep things as mostly transactional. Email is where you can really nurture people and not send as many like announcements and stuff. You still want to send those, but we're also mixing in a ton of nurture and educational content. I have a ton of guides on my YouTube, which you can check out on non-discount email campaign. Now I'm sure you're wondering what like a 7 to 8 figure brand's like content calendar would look like for SMS. So I actually put this together for you. Here's like a mock calendar of what an 8-figure brand might be sending to their list. So let's say it is October, and so we have some main events in October. For this hypothetical brand, let's say that we are doing a product launch on October 10th. It's like a Halloween themed product launch, and then also a Halloween flash sale on October 30th to 31st. So we have those 2 main events for the whole entire month. We can kind of like fill in what we need from there. For the October 10th product launch, this is a big event. I would probably want to send 2 to 3-ish messages throughout the month on it. So let's say on October 10th, we do an announcement message to the list, just being like new product, yada, 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 and that's probably what's going to generate the most sales. I like to send one other reminder or something a little bit more urgency focused, like low on stock, some sort of message like that. We can send that about like a week-ish later. Let's just throw it into like October 15th. And something optional that you could do is you could send a teaser to your SMS list on like the 8th or 9th, just to really build up hype for it and just tell people to be on the lookout. There's a limited time item that's going to be coming to the store on October 10th. Be ready, whatever. We see those actually do really help with the sales of your launches. So we have an October Halloween flash sale on the 30th and the 31st. So I wouldn't really overthink it. I would send 2 messages, one on the 30th for a launch SMS, just like, hey, flash sale, go buy, and then on the 31st, do like a last chance. This is expiring in a few hours. For big events like that, it's fine to send on back-to-back days. Now for the rest of the month, we have some gaps of over a week without an SMS, so I just want to insert like 2 to 3 extra campaigns in there. So on October 4th, for example, we could do like a social media giveaway to try to blow up our social media a bit and drive people to the Instagram for like a giveaway you're doing, post on your story, yada yada. That's something that we could slot in on that month. And then we kind of have one other week where we need some opening. So on the 23rd, I would send some sort of restock for a popular item, because those always do well. If an item went out of stock, that means it's popular because it went out of stock. And then also a restock means that this product might go out of stock, and so it has urgency and popularity in the same message. So I like to do these frequently. Even if something isn't necessarily out of stock, you can still send a message for it. So this calendar is perfect. We don't really need to do anything more. We have the right balance of transactional stuff and then also like some fill-in campaigns. So this should be good to go and everything you really need. And then I want to talk briefly about send times. When do you send your SMS messages? Now there's no right answer besides test it. Every audience is different, so you just need to test different times of the day to to see when your audience is responding the best. The safest is midday around 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., kind of when people are done with their morning and maybe they're on lunch at work. Then also early evening, such as like 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. works well as well. Some general tips is avoid sending before 10 a.m. just because some people sleep in. Avoid messages past 7:30 p.m. because some people go to bed early or they shut off their phone during night. You can do last chance SMS messages kind of around like 6 to 7 p.m. Those can perform really well if you say like 4 hours left, but you want to make sure you're not sending that too late. But I recommend just try to keep most of your messages in that window of 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also in the description, in the doc, I have a swipe file of 30 SMS messages, which I hand-picked with the help of Attentive. So if you want some inspiration on how to create quick messages, you can just steal from brands who are absolutely crushing it. So if you want it, just go to the description, you can have the doc. And so that is everything that I have in this video for SMS marketing and how to get the most out of your SMS channel. Every single e-commerce brand that is scaling needs SMS marketing, and hopefully I filled you in on why you need that. If you're an e-com brand above $50,000 a month and you want some help with SMS, then you can book a call with me, a free consulting call. I'll talk you through it, and then we can see if there are options for us working together. But if not, I'll have a ton more guides in the future. I'll continue to post on YouTube, so be sure you're on the lookout for more content. I hope that this was useful for you. Let me know if it was. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.